based on the Gaston Leroux 1910 French novel, The Nameless Legend of the Paris Opera House. Is he ghost, man, or monster? The Phantom of the Opera, 1925 silent film. Famously portrayed by Lon Chaney, who did his own makeup, as a lot of you might know, in this film. He's become one of the most iconic looking monster creatures in horror film history. His costume up and down, from his cape to his black suit, is just great. You gotta love it. The whole movie was filmed on Universal Studios in LA. During the silent film era, as we know, he was coming off of The Hunchback of Notre Dame in 1923. And I'm going to go over a few scenes that stood out to me in this film. The Phantom, everyone pretty much knows the plot. The Phantom has been stalking and haunting the Paris Opera House for years. And then after new owners take over, they get threatening notes from the Phantom, Eric, after he falls in love with one of the girls that's working there, and he wants her to be the head in some of the plays. So many great scenes, so well shot. I heard they reshot it like 4 or 5 times throughout 1925. One of my favorite shots is in the beginning when the new owners take over and they go out and check. They warn them not to go out and check opera box number 5 because that's where he lingers. And you just see the cloaked figure, shadowy figure sitting in there. You don't get to reveal his face yet, of course. Then they have a scene of the black cat shot. It's been cliche over the years. Obviously, it was even cliche before that time since they show it. That's a great shot in the film. So, he starts to sabotage the plays at the opera house. As we know, he drops the chandelier. That's a great scene. The chandelier's freaking huge in there, and that room's full of extras. That's one of my favorite scenes, definitely. And I think the mask that he wears in it is kind of whack. It looks like a V for Vendetta mask. Like, if the V for Vendetta mask looks like a Japanese guy, then his halfway mask looks something like the Indian version of V for Vendetta. A chubby Indian or Samoan guy or something. Then there's the mask. Well, over the years, I like the more modern one that they chose, the flat white one. I think that's become more iconic for the Phantom of the Opera mask throughout the years. And anyway, another scene is the masquerade party where he dresses up as the Red Death in the skull mask. That is shot in color. Like I was saying, there's rewrites and different soundtracks throughout. It's like they just put a track on, like a CD on, and just let it play through. Because some of the soundtrack doesn't match up to like the tone of different scenes, and it'll just end and then start a different mood of a song, but it'll be the same scene. There's rumors, and throughout my research that they did, I saw the 1929, that's the more generic version, that's 93 minutes long. Then there's the 1925 version that features a lot of deleted scenes. But I heard in 1930 they redid it with sound, with one of their famous voice actors doing the voice for Lon Chaney, because Lon Chaney didn't do the voice, and that was around the year that he died too. But that since has become a lost film. Everyone might have heard of lost films. There's a whole list of them out there. There's even a Hitchcock film that's considered the holy grail of lost films. I think it's called Iron Eagle or Eagle Mountain, something like that. And so then there's the ending, which is similar kind of to the Frankenstein ending. And this movie, the success of this movie, which made $2 million in theaters, they re-released it several times, is what prompted Universal to finance other monster movies that have become even more famous than this one. Obviously, like the Frankenstein Dracula series, The Mummy, The Invisible Man, The Wolfman, played by Lon Chaney Jr., which is Lon Chaney's son, who was about 19 when this film was released. And Lon Chaney Sr. was about in his early 40s, if I'm not mistaken, when this film was filmed. For the era, it's gotta be an A+. As a horror film, I'm definitely gonna give it a B+. And the Phantom is such a great character. And there's so many scenes that would be in this film that are just so great and would even be considered better than a lot of horror movies. And there's so many iconic scenes like the unveiling of him and the mysterious figure of him throughout, and the dark sets. The sets were just amazing. The wardrobes were amazing. There's rumors that part of the sets are still up in Stage 28 for Universal Studios, and they used like part of the set in the Muppets 2011 movie, a movie which actually sucks. Watch Muppets in Manhattan or Muppets, The Great Muppet Caper, that owns the Muppets 2011. But getting back on topic, I think I pretty much said everything I wanted to say, because the soundtrack is random at times, and I gave my grade. Such an iconic character. I want to see the 2004 Joel Schumacher version even more now. I've always put off watching that. I saw the 1989 Robert Englund version, which is just pretty much terrible. They try to make it into like an 80s horror movie, but it's pretty lame. Let's just put it that way. I saw like in the mid 2000s. I haven't seen it in a while, but from what I remember, I hated it back then. But this was JBM from Villain News, Villain Radio. Subscribe for more horror discussions and tell me your thoughts on this movie. I'm out.